morning, everyone, and thank you for Takealot's webinar on creating variants. Before we start today, we would just like to cover some points of administration. First off, the recommended browser for tuning into our webinars is Chrome or Firefox. In the past, we have experienced some problems with Internet Explorer, which causes quality issues. This is largely due to the fact that Internet Explorer has fallen into disuse and is no longer being updated by the company that owns it. Secondly, we would also just like to put a kind reminder out there to unmute your device in case there is no sound, or to check and ensure that you are using the browsers we've mentioned above. Moving forward, I would just like to add that this recording will be made available for future reference. Once we are done here, we will just simply check the recording for sound and other quality issues. Otherwise, it will be made available, and we ask that you keep an eye on your inbox to find the link. To request the topic of our next webinar, we would also like to invite you to use the Tools and Training suggestion form. Using this form, you can submit any topic that you would like us to explore within this format. You can send us through examples of things you'd like to see in future, or just give feedback on the learning material that has been made available to you thus far. For any learning material that you would need for the creation of variants, please refer to the Loadsheet instructions guide. In there, you will find everything you will need to guide you through creating variants. On the agenda today, as shared with the invites, we are going to start off with the basics of just covering what is a variant for our newer merchants. Then we're going to go to takealot.com to see what a customer will experience with variants. And then we'll dive into the load sheets. First off, how to know whether or not your load sheet allows for variants, and then how you would actually go about creating one. Finally, we'll end off with questions and answers. In this section, you are welcome to send through questions. We'll answer as much as we can within our given time. Whatever we don't get to, we'll collate within a document and distribute with the link to this recording. Let's jump into it. So most of you should be aware, but as I said, for our newer merchants, let's just take a quick look at what a variant is. As an example that you can see on your screen, if we were to take a red shoe that is within the style of a stiletto, that has a particular type of fabric that it is made of, and it is sold on a specific brand, that is one shoe. If that shoe is provided in different sizes, such as a size 7, 8, or 9, that would be a product with variants, where the size 7, 8, or 9 would be a variant of this shoe. So variation themes can vary in itself. They could be color, it could be size, or anything else that we have available currently to select from. So if we would think like a customer's, how they search, find, and add to carts, and go to takealot.com, we can see the journey that they will have. If we were to take a whistling tea kettle and search that, this is the results that would come up on Takealot. What customers would then typically do is start to use the facets or the filters to the left to refine their search. In this instance, they could choose a brand, and a department will pop up as well. And they can see that they've now come closer to that which they are looking for, and also see the variety. If they were then to click on one of these listings, which has the option more colors, this indicates to them that the product that they see is available and has variants in different either sizes or colors. So here we've come to the shared product display page of our variants. This is something I'd like everyone to please take note of. It's going to be quite important when we walk through the load sheet later on, as there is shared information on the screen. What I'm referring to when I say shared information is things such as the title. This contains no variant information. Even though we know that there will be colors available for customers to choose from, We do not put this in the title, as this will remain the same as the customer interacts with this page. The next piece of shared information is a description. This also does not have any variant information, as this is shared. All of the key features are the same across all of the variants. If we scroll down, it's the same for what's in the box. You cannot create a variant if what you will be offering the customer is different. In that instance, you would have to create a product without a variant. As we move to the next tab, product information, this should also only be shared information, such as warranty and other things that are very specific to this product line. If a customer were to then click on a color to select, it brings up only the variant information. That would be the color and the image associated with it. At this point, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that it is very important to provide a high-quality image with your variants, especially if it's reliant on a visual difference such as color. In this instance, if the variant was described as orange, it would not be a sufficient description for this product as it has quite unique features when it comes to the colors. As a customer moves through the variants, he or she can therefore see what kind of product they can expect to receive. Each variant then also can have its own pricing, which is added later on, or stock information. Moving back to just our agenda, we're going to take a look at how you would create this listing on takealot.com using our load sheets. Before we continue, it is important to always check whether or not your load sheet allows for variants. This will be important while you're gathering your information. Most of Takealot's load sheets allows for variants at this point in time, except for liquor, books, and non-perishables. But if you're ever unsure, you would only need to open up the load sheet and refer to the first column. When I speak of the first column, I refer to this that says product or variant. If you are able to see that and that functionality is available, then that department allows you to create variants for the products within it. If that is not there and the load sheet starts with your own SKU or any other column, it is not available. To know what kind of variants you can create within that product, you would need to scroll through the load sheet and look for anything that ends with for variant. That would indicate that the specific attributes or linen size is available to be used as a variant theme. All right, so now we're going to open up a load sheet and see how we could do that before we go into questions and answers. So just to see how we would find our relevant load sheet for a whistling tea kettle, we would open up the global category lookup. On your keyboard, you would select Control and F to bring up the search bar in the top right corner, and you would type in a keyword. And you'll see that there are one of 6 results, of which the first one is highlighted here as kettlebells. We will continue until we find the correct lowest category node, which is a stovetop kettles and coffee pots. And we can see that the homeware load sheet should be used in this instance. Please always do follow this route of going through the global load sheet and category lookup in case we do make any updates as to where products should be listed or moved around within departments. We do continuously assess how customers search and expect to find things. Opening up the load sheets, we see here that the product or variant is available. If we scroll to the right, here we can find the variant options. Starting off, we're going to create the parent product. As we took a look previously, let me just find the page. The parent product, or the product with variant, as it is known in the load sheets, contains all of the shared information. It does not have a specific price to it, as it is the shell or the link for where all of the variants live. And it contains all of the shared information. So this is the first thing that we will be creating in our load sheet, and we must remember to always work from left to right. First off, we will select product with variants. You'll see that a red brick road is created, showing you what is required to create this kind of product with variants. In this column, you would typically type in your own SKU for, which is just a stock keeping unit, so that you can do your own inventory management. In this instance, we will create we can create a fake SKU just to be used as a link for our variants. You can type in any combination of letters and numbers. Moving on, we need to select the main and lowest category. As with the global category tree lookup, we will go into the tab at the bottom, Control and F on your keyboard, and type in the key search word. There we can find the lowest category node and the main category node. You're welcome to copy this over into the cell. You're also welcome to make use of the drop-down to find your node. There it is. Moving to the right, a product with variant cannot have a barcode as it's not a purchasable listing. It is the listing that connects all of our variants. So as we were thinking like a customer and what they would see, we know that our product title cannot have any variant information. So to create this kind of product, we would put in only what we would expect the customer to search in terms of a brand and the key search term of what the product is. The variant information we will add later. In terms of the subtitle, this is optional. And if you were to populate the brand section, we would automatically insert the brand name into the subtitle if left blank. In terms of the key selling features, we would again say that this is shared information for all of our variants. There should be nothing different between either of these. And we double click before we paste this into the cell. Again, with the what's in the box, we insert what the customer can expect to receive. This is a very important cell and piece of information as it shows to the customer what they can expect, managing their expectations, and which can help to reduce returns. Next up is the main color. Now we see that this is a red brick, but this is going to be our variant information. The reason that it is highlighted here is due to the fact that you have other variant options. If you were going to go for a size variant, you would still need to insert the color of the product and then go and build out the different sizes that it is available in. So we will skip over this red brick just for a moment, and we'll show you later how we can make that disappear. Scrolling to the right, we can see what kind of information is required for the specific combination of main and lowest category node, ending in our warranty type. And that is it. The parent product has been created, or the product with variants has been created. We can now start to build out only the variant products with its specific information. To do this, we again must work from left to right for each variant we want to create. First, we will select variant, and you will see that a different kind of red brick road is presented. This is because only variant information should be provided on this line. The first thing we need to do is to link the variant to the shared line or the parent line. To do this, you can simply copy and paste over the link. The cell will turn green if this has been done correctly or successfully. It has therefore looked to find where should it go, gather its shared information. What we have seen is that merchants have failed to create or select product with variants in the first line and to link these, and have commenced with only creating variants. That variant will have no shared information or link, and it will be rejected and will fail. Moving across, you see that you now have the option to insert a barcode. This is because this very specific product will be purchasable by a customer. In terms of the title, this is where variant information can be added. If we were to take a look at our listing and we took the blue version, this is the differentiating factor, the color, Marcel blue. You will require this information to manage your products and orders accordingly. So we suggest that you follow a format of adding the shared product title and then simply adding the variant information to the end of it. In terms of the key selling features, nothing will be required here, as it will inherit it from the first row. The same applies to the what's in the box column and the brand name. Here you will see that the color, alpha size for variant and linen size for variant, has highlighted as red. These are your variant options. As soon as one of them has been filled in, the others will disappear, as the load sheet will detect your variation theme. It will also use this to compare each additional variant that you add to ensure that only the same variation theme is used throughout. In this instance, our main color would be blue, and then you can see the other variant options disappear. You also have the option to name your color. So if blue is not sufficient, but Marcel blue is part of your branding efforts, or a very specific blue that you would like to display to customers, you can insert that here. On Takealot.com, that means that when a customer searches, they can find the color name here, or additionally, if you are selling a product which does not have a specific name to the color, that would also appear here, such as white, found to the bottom. That is the options we have right now. On the product display page, the correct name will appear. Lastly, we need to scroll to the right to see if there's any further variant information that is required. As you will see, there is none, and there should be, as everything will be inherited from the product. The last thing we do need to do, though, is to insert the images. As this is a color-based variation theme, we will need to provide an image for each variant that is displayed on the product display page. It is very important that you do not put the image link on the very first row. Our system will take a look at all of the variant images provided and auto-select one to display first. Here we have our kettle pot, and we will take our image link to paste it into the load sheet. If you need any assistance with image links, we have done a previous webinar on how to manage these, and we invite you to attend that, or to go and find our recording. Our variant row is now complete, and we can repeat what we have just done for each variant that we would like to add. We insert only what is required, as indicated by the load sheets. Now to take a look at something else about the image links. As you can see on our product display page, each color is quite unique, which means that the customer will need an image to show them what they can expect to receive for each variant. If we were to take a look at a size variant, you will find that there is no need to provide additional images. A size variant will always look the same to the customer, with a non-visual difference being the size of the foot. In that instance, when creating the variant, you would only provide an image on the very first variant line. You would not provide an image on each variant line. So this is an important distinction to make in terms of whether it's a visual or a non-visual variant and where to place the image link. The one rule that we can tell you is please do not put it in the first row, as this will fail our system validation. We are looking into making this a little bit more user-friendly, but until then, we do ask that you bear with us and only place image links on the variant lines. If it's a color variant, you will need an image on each line. If it is a size variant, you will need an image only on the first variant line. All right. To ensure we are 20 minutes into our webinar at this point, so I will be opening up our questions and answers section. And I do have a few assistants here to help me wherever we can. So starting from our first question, is there TSIN numbers for each variant? So opening up the load sheets, we should just distinguish between your own SKU and a TSIN. So TSIN is the take-a-lot assigned number for the product, where your own SKU is your own stock keeping unit. And in this example, we have created the link which binds the two. But here you also have the option to create your own SKU. Which will then be linked to the variant for you to manage in your own inventory. So I do hope that I've understood and answered that question correctly. But yes, each variant is its own product and therefore has its own TSIN assigned when created. The next question we have is, can we add variants to existing products, or is it only applicable to new listings? This answer has two parts to it. First off, it is possible to have your existing listings created into variants. You would need to lodge an edit request with Takealot to do that. Secondly, the second part is you can only request to do this for the available variants that there are currently within the load sheets. So if you were to create something within homeware and you have existing products, your options would be to link them as variants via color, alpha size, or linen size. We have had feedback before that there are requests for customized variants. This is not something we can currently offer, but it is something that we will look into. And we are constantly analyzing customer search behavior and shopping behavior, and then building out our variant options based on this and what we're capable of doing. We have another question. Do these variants apply to all a certain category of items? I'm not quite sure if that came through a little bit earlier, but you would need to open up your load sheet after going through the global category lookup. You'd need to find the load sheet for your product. If you open it up, you would know whether the load sheet offers you, the department offers you the option of a variant by referring to the first column. If you have the option or see the column product or variant with the drop-down product with variance, variant, or product without variance, you know that the department offers the option. But the second part of that is to see what kind of variant options are available by scrolling to the right to see where there are columns ending in for variant. I see another question has come through. What would you suggest for items that are bundled with different quantities? So this is where the what's in the box field becomes quite important. If the what's in the box is going to be different for each variant, then it's not a variant listing. Then we would suggest that you rather create products without variants and to create those as individual listings. There should only ever be one kind of differentiation between your variants, and differentiating quantities is not something that we offer as a theme yet. So if your what's in the box is not exactly the same, if you need that to change with each variant that is selected, it is not suitable. We have another question. Does the parent SKU become a new listing of my inventory list? No, it does not. Only your variants will form part of your inventory list. When you receive your email for completed products requested, we count that in just because it is a line that has been entered into the load sheet. But when the product is added to your inventory, only the variants are added. To illustrate why, it is because your product or parent, product with variant or parent line represents only this page. You will see that there's no price associated with it. There's no stock information associated with it, and the customer cannot add it to a cart. It is only the shell that contains the shared information and forms the link to which all of these variants bind. These are in fact your purchasable items. You can see here the add to cart button has been made available and the add to wish list button. I do hope that answers the question. I'm going to find another one here. How can I get to the global load sheets? So you will find in the load sheet instructions guide, which I will open up shortly, you will have links to everything you require. So there, depending on the kind of merchant you are, you will have a version of this document. The type of merchant you are, apologies. You have a document containing all of the links to everything that you might require, including your information, rules and requirements, global category tree lookup, etc. Within your load sheet, however, you will only have the category tree lookup as it is relevant to the specific department or load sheet that you are currently working in. I see one has come through, which is quite an important one. My product is not in the global load sheet. It may be that your product is in fact within the load sheet, but it has just been stored under a different name. I'll just try and think of an example. We've previously had that if you are selling nappies, you might need to consider typing in diapers. This is a bit of an unfortunate naming convention that we're working through, but it is simply because our systems are coming closer to Google search and search results. But we'll be working through that. If you are absolutely unable to find your product, even using alternative terms, please do feel free to reach out to request the kind of load sheet, main, and lowest category note that you should use. But again, this is only in the instance where you are unable to find your product within this sheet. I have another question here. What happens if your red stilettos in sizes 4, 5, and 6, but also the same shoe in blue in sizes 4, 5, and 6. In that instance, those would be 2 variation themes. And I would rather suggest that you create a product with variants based on a color and a size. So I'll just use the load sheet on the screen to illustrate. In that instance, you would put the main color as a shared product attribute. So we would go, it's a blue shoe. The color name, we can again make whatever we would like, royal blue. But then in our alpha size, we would provide, or I'm using alpha size as an example now, but this would be in the clothing and accessories and shoes load sheet. You would select the size variant. And with your next variant line as well, you would then repeat that by creating another product with variants. I am skipping over a few steps here just to please do always work from left to right. The way I'm doing it might encounter some problems, but just to illustrate, now I've created another product with variants and a variant line. Here we go. And on this one, I would say that's a green shoe. And again, I would say it is available in our variants in different sizes. So in that way, you will have created, if you look to the screen, I'm just going to go and find our search results. You'll have created 2 of these. So it would be a red shoe in different sizes and then a blue shoe in different sizes. All right, I do hope that explained what I did mean. It's a little bit tricky and I don't have that load sheet open in front of me at this very time. But essentially, we suggest that you create 2 product with variants, each with its own variants based on color and size. The next question that we will do before we end off our session is, how does one add a new brand name? So currently what we have done in order to ensure that we can work most efficiently in assessing your product information that you have submitted is we allow you to, first of all, go to the brand lookup and to search, and to search your brand. If you are unable to find the brand in here and you would like to add it, you are welcome to type it into the column. What will happen is, this might happen. That is because we are allowing you essentially to break a rule of the load sheet just to ensure that adding brands is currently being done in a very efficient way. We will, however, be becoming a little bit more strict on brands, as customer would not expect any association with the product. The brand is supposed to represent some goodwill of the product or the range. If your product line is rejected, you may, however, see in your results file that there was a brand system validation error. At this point in time, you can currently ignore that rule. It simply means that we've allowed the system to reject the brand and we have not created it because there's something else wrong with the listing, or because there is a spelling error or an obvious error with what you have tried to add. For example, if we were to do something like that, that is clearly incorrect and we would not allow it to pass. If your brand and your products are pass our system in quality review, however, the brand will be created and you will not see that in your result file. All right, we do see that there are quite a few other questions that have come through. What we will do now is we will collate all of these and we will prepare it in a document which we will share with the recording of this webinar so that you can share this with your colleagues or return to it in future for reference. We do hope that this has been helpful. And as we mentioned before, please do feel free to make use of the training and tools and training suggestion form to request the topic of our next webinar. And we will gladly review that to see what we can do. Thank you so much for attending, and we will see you again next time. Goodbye.